So the RMB has been strengthening in part because of persistent current account surplus, as well as portfolio inflows. So the Chinese yuan continue offers quite attractive carry relative to the advanced economy. So that's partly one of the reasons why flows have been quite supportive. But we see a few reasons to be cautious on the RMB going forward. The first reason is we think that the growth differential between China and the US could be narrowing. So one thing that has become clear in recent weeks is that the Chinese policy agenda has shifted away from stimulus towards more structural, longer-term reforms. So this includes a slew of measures that were introduced, tackling regulations on tech companies. We have a deleveraging campaign in the real estate sector. We also have property tax introduction that is aimed to stem property market speculation, and as well as energy shortages due to a clampdown in coal production as part of the decarbonization drive. So all these policies are positive for the longer term, but they bring about risks of implementation and of policy coordination across the Chinese policy agencies. So for instance, we have seen liquidity issues becoming more prevalent in the real estate sector as banks have been instructed to withhold loans to real estate developers, and this have developed into new headwinds for the real estate sector. The same can be said for decarbonization, where there has been some energy disruptions that have impacted manufacturing in China. So we see a more volatile growth trajectory for China that could potentially introduce some headwinds for the RMB going forward. So we're more cautious on the RMB for now.
Okay, you're more cautious on the RMB. But what would be the direction of travel for the currency come 2022, you think? So end of 2022, where do you see the RMB?
So we are looking for the RMB to hit higher towards 660 by the end of the year, as the Fed is slated to announce its tapering. And also on top of the fact that we have higher US yields that could potentially lead to some degree of outflows from emerging Asia. All this would combine, I think, to bring about a higher dollar Asia, at least in the short term. But of course, we think Asia is much more well-positioned now compared to 2013 when taper tantrum created massive volatility across the Asian FX markets. So we still think Chinese yuan could peak around 670 and then eventually head lower sometime in the second half of 2022.